And welcome to Kelowna Now Live. I'm Jason Mann. Joining me is Brent Watson, Visions Plumbing and Heating. Welcome to Kelowna Now again, Brent.
Thanks for having me.
It's our multi-part, I guess, four-part series.
Yeah, we're
part
back four times now.
Yeah. And you know what? As a homeowner, I've been picking up lots of tips and learning a lot from you. Just an absolute fountain of knowledge. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
No, absolutely. And you can really tell you have your knowledge updated. I think the thing that we want to cover today is really one of the most asked questions on the internet, and we'll do a bit of a deep dive on heat pumps as a result. The question is, are heat pumps worth it?
Yeah, are heat pumps worth it? Yeah, that's always the biggest question, especially the last couple of years with the rebates and all that floating around, the big push by the government to install these. Up to about 5 years ago, I would have said no, but now with the technologies and the increases in efficiencies and with the rebates that the government, hey, if the government's giving you your money back, I take it. Yes, for many reasons we can dive into them, but for the main reason that I think gets overlooked a lot is the fact that you're basically having two systems. So my company is not an advocate for the one system heat pump. So all you have is a heat pump, you don't have a furnace. We believe in having a high efficient furnace with a heat pump, and they work really well together for efficiencies. The main reason being, if your furnace goes down in a cold snap, you don't have heat, right? If you have a heat pump, you still have heat. So you have that backup source of heat, which is a good thing to have in a cold snap. So that alone is a really good reason to have a heat pump, as well as the efficiencies, of course.
So you can have these systems working in parallel then.
Yes.
How does a heat pump work?
So how a heat pump works, unlike a furnace that uses natural gas to produce heat, a heat pump pulls heat from the ambient air outside. So that's why the colder it is outside, the less efficient a heat pump is. I mean, there's been great advances on efficiencies with heat pumps, and those get better and better throughout the years. But that's how it works. It pulls the ambient heat from the outside air, puts that into your house, and then in the reverse, in summer, it pulls the heat from inside your house and projects that outside, then cooling your house.
Okay.
That's how it works.
So that answers my next question, I guess, a little bit, or gets us partway there. And I think also speaks to some of the concerns that consumers have had around heat pumps, and that is around how they work in cold climates.
Right.
And so obviously you're saying there's some efficiencies that have improved over the last few years in terms of that, mixing that cold air from the outside, or maybe you could explain a little more.
Yeah, so exactly that. So back up to even about 5-6 years ago, they just didn't do what they were intended to do, was heat your home. Well, that's great. They heat your home up to say -2, but then after that, you weren't getting any more heat out of the system. And this kind of shed a little bit of a gray area on the market when it comes to heat pumps, and people still are holding on to those negative feelings of, oh, it's not going to heat my house like it used to. Yeah, back 5-6 years ago, the technology was just not there, contrary to what they might have heard. Nowadays, most heat pumps are good to have -25, if not 30, depending on the brand and the efficiency of the unit, right? Depending on the brand.
Okay. Is this a noisy addition to your home in any way?
Not really, no, especially with the higher end brands. I mean, it's just like anything, you get what you pay for. You can get some really low end brands that might be a little bit more noisy. The higher the brand, the more the cost, usually the quieter the unit usually is, and the more efficient it is.
So if I have a furnace, say, system or other heating systems in place, and I'm not sure exactly how I want to ask this, but I know that some homes will have ducts and some will have radiators and some will be ductless. Like, how does that work with that kind of infrastructure?
Yeah, we can tie a heat pump into your current ducting system, just like you would with a furnace. We can use that, or we can use ductless systems that don't have ducting. So there's ducted and ductless out there. So there's options. Usually we can put a heat pump pretty much in any application, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So older homes, new homes,
yep, absolutely.
No preference.
Yeah, most homes have ducts in them, and if they don't, we can use a ductless system.
What kind of space requirements do you need for installation?
It really varies from house to house. That's where having a comfort advisor come out to your home and really assess your current situation and the space that you currently have. Every home is different, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And what about the upfront costs of installation? How do they compare to, say, a traditional system, just a furnace going in or something?
Yeah, upfront cost for the equipment, just because there's more to it. There's more going on in a heat pump system is a little bit more than a standard furnace system. Numbers to speak, I can't really speak on them because every house is different. Like I mentioned, prices can vary If I was going to throw stuff out there, anywhere from 4,000 to 15,000, anywhere in between for a brand new system. So it's best to have a comfort advisor come out, whether it's from my company or another, to take a look at your house, take a look at the size requirements, and give you a proper estimate.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it the bigger the house, the more costly usually? Is that
Typically,
correct?
because you got to move more air, you need a bigger system, obviously a bigger unit, more parts, more components, more copper.
Yeah.
These things usually push up the cost. Yeah.
Okay. And government, as we've been talking about, and
Yeah.
well know, have been providing some incentives, some rebates. They're really pushing
Yep.
heat pumps. What can you tell us in terms of incentives that would be available here in the Okanagan?
Yeah, the rebates are still there through many government websites. You can go to our website, visionplumbingandheat.com, to find those links. Right now, there's the $10,000 rebate that's still running for the dual fuel system, heat pump, and new high efficient furnace. And then up to $15,000 if you're income qualified, which you would have to put in your details to find out if you're going to qualify for that extra $5,000. But up to $15,000 for rebates.
Those are big chunks.
They're very big, and I can't stress this enough that we don't know how long these will last. They won't be forever. There's rumblings of new government coming in. Conservatives are just that, a little more conservatives. We don't know if this is going to stick around. So if this is something you've been on the fence for, I would definitely give us a call or give a company a call to look for some more information.
Now, another trend has been the addition of solar to people's homes. Can you bring in a heat pump into a solar-enabled home?
Yes, you can. I can't talk too much on that because we don't deal directly with solar, and we don't offer that service. But I know you can integrate solar power into a heat pump system for sure. Yeah.
Okay. And maintenance, ongoing heat pump versus traditional, or is there?
Yeah, just like anything, just like your car, just like a standard furnace, these things need general maintenance. You should be doing so because, like I said, going into a cold snap like this, you don't want to find out that you could have prevented something on an easy, cheap general maintenance rather than a big repair. So yearly, you should be scheduling a company like mine to come do a general maintenance to prevent anything from happening when there's a cold snap.
Okay, and what's the expected lifespan of a heat pump? Is it relatively the same? Or?
Anywhere from 10 to 20 years, also depending on how much general maintenance you do. Obviously, the more maintenance you do, just like a car, the longer life expectancy you should expect to receive out of these units.
So it's kind of interesting as we think about installing a heat pump and the environmental conditions that we kind of live in and stuff like that, how they've evolved to match the colder temperatures and make it more readily, I guess, applicable in Canada. Do you have any insights where heat pump technology is going? What advancements we might expect next 5, 10?
Yeah. The main there'd be a couple. So the main advancement would be, more efficient the colder it gets. The more efficient, the colder it gets. That's what everybody wants, right? And then also the cost. The more and more these are put in, the more they're made, the cost will come down. So we're seeing that happen. Not as fast as we want costs come down, but that will happen as more adoption takes place. Yeah, for sure.
Good. And if somebody's interested in looking at a heat pump for their home or business, I guess, what would the next steps with you be? How would they move forward?
Yeah,
what does that look like?
They can just go as easy as going to our website, visionplumbingandheating.com, or reaching out to us, 250-470-9552 is our direct number, and asking to speak to someone about heat pumps, and they'll put you in touch with one of our comfort advisors who has more knowledge even than I do when it comes to these kind of things.
Do they come out? Is it a phone consultation? How does that work?
Yep. What would happen is we'll set up a time that best suits the client's needs, and then our comfort advisor or one of them will come out to their home and sit down with the powers that be that make the decisions and go over the best system that fits them and their family's needs.
Okay, great. Are heat pumps worth it? In a word?
Heat pumps are worth it, folks. Heat pumps, especially if the government's giving you enough to almost cover the entire cost of a brand new system, absolutely.
Brent, I love having somebody with your knowledge on our Rolodex to be able to call up and get questions from for our biggest questions and get answers to our biggest questions. And today you did not disappoint. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
All right.
And thank you for watching Kelowna Now.